Evening, everyone. We are just going live with the next installment of our Business Sense Bootcamp, sponsored by Comerica Bank. You know the drill. If you've been a part of this program before, like, comment, share, let the world know that you are with us. And to our panelists, if you do have access to your social media, like, comment, share, let the world know that you will be on the program today. We want to get as many people to this program as possible. Like, comment, share. We don't have anyone join just yet. Oh, now we got a couple of people joining. For those of us who just joined, please like, comment, share. Let the world know that you're with us. Folks are picking up pretty quickly. Wow, this is an informed group of people that want to be a part of this conversation. I don't know if it's the topic or the stars of the show that we have today, but we got folks pooling in. Yeah, if you're watching us, go ahead and like, comment, share. Let the world know that you're with us. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Bring them all in. After doing this for a couple of months, I got these quick one-liners that I've come up with. Hopefully, they don't turn off any of our audience members. We got Cincinnati Miller on the line with us. Welcome. Please like, comment, share. Let the world know that you're with us. We got Shalisha Rigsby of the Rigsby Law Firm talking to us today about trademarks, copyrights, and all the things that you need to know as a upstart business to make sure you protect your intellectual property. Of course, we have Summer Fawcett of Comerica Bank joining us once again, a huge champion of the Urban League and the Urban League Young Professionals. Hello, Ashley Atkins. Welcome. You know the drill. Like, comment, share. Want everybody to be a part of the program. We'll be getting started in just a few moments. I just want to, of course, we go live, Facebook, YouTube, they notify everybody. So we want to give those folks opportunity to get settled, get the camera on, get the lighting right, get the pen and pad ready. You're going to want to take some notes after today. And of course, we'll share the information for Shalisha so that you can contact her with further follow-up discussion. So before we get started, Shalisha, Summer, how are we all doing today?
Doing good.
We're good.
Doing good, doing great.
Yeah, awesome. At the same time, and we did not rehearse it, so I'm sure they're ready.
Always ready, Jerry.
Always ready.
These live broadcasts, they've perfected the idea of being always ready.
I like that.
And yes. To manage chaos, it seems sometimes, But
yes.
I guess we all have, right?
At some point.
Got it. So again, if you're joining us, thank you so much for joining us today. I just want to give everyone a huge thank you for signing on today, being a part of this program. It's a huge plus, but it's obvious the program itself is important to us. We know the vital importance of sharing some of these unique topics, these interesting topics that some of our business owners in the community may not normally have access to. So the Business Sense boot camps have allowed us to bring forth that information, allow us to connect to some other business owners, influencers, well-knowledgeable people in the community and bring them to you. So we definitely have to thank Comerica Bank for helping facilitate these conversations. And of course, individuals like Shalisha Rigsby for donating her time to bring forth this information. We have Christina Thornton joining us. Thank you, Christina. Another huge supporter of the Urban League Young Professionals. We'll get started in just a few moments. Again, give everyone a chance to sign on in. But we have Summer Fawcett for Comerica Bank, Shalisha Rigsby of the Rigsby Law Firm. So actually, let's go ahead and just get started with the conversation. We have Summer Fawcett, again, a huge supporter of the
Emphasis on the huge.
I look, Jerry. I know, Jerry. No, you know what? I love Urban League. I love organizations that just give back and do it the right way. Look at the future, figure out what's going on now, and kind of change everything. You guys are certainly agents of change, doing everything that's necessary and bringing the world to the forefront of what's going on in our community. And I absolutely love it. So with Comerica Bank, of course, I know Jerry said it probably, several times.
No,
Thank you very much.
Please tell us a little bit more about yourself. I was going to read the bio, but as I always say, no one can better tell their story themselves.
our bios change like every week, every single time I do something. But yeah, I'm Assistant Vice President with Corporate Communications for Comerica Bank and External Affairs Market Manager for the state of Arizona. All that just means I'm in it for the community. I'm the liaison between the community and our bank. I kind of get the pulse of everybody, see what's going on, relay that information to the bank, and then we make changes based on that. If the community thrives, businesses thrive, banks thrive. And that is our main goal, is to make sure that we are doing this all as one united front, kind of standing in the gaps of where some things lack. And a lot of it is in financial education, business literacy, understanding just, things that weren't taught to everybody when you were growing up. So that's exactly what we're here for. I absolutely love Greater Phoenix Urban League, everything that you guys are doing. Jerry, you, again, absolutely love the work that you're doing in the community. And I couldn't do what I do if there weren't people like you with hearts like yours, knowledge and expertise and higher education. I mean, there's so many things that just make this organization such a dynamic organization that we love to partner with. So thank you for allowing us to be here. Thank you so much for hosting, because this is not an easy task, not by any means. And we are certainly here to continue building upon the work that you're already doing. And Comerica thanks you. So thank you very much, Greater Phoenix Urban League. We're happy to be here.
We thank you dearly. And again, a champion. I'm not gonna say huge anymore, but don't want to oversell it. But and today's guest, we got Salisha Rigsby, Rigsby Law Firm, and I will take the moment to read her bio because again, she's the guest today, right? Salisha Rigsby is the founder of the Rigsby Law Firm LLC, a Phoenix-based business law firm focused on helping business owners protect and sustain their business. Salisha is widely known as the brand protector due to her passion for educating business owners on how to properly own their brands. The Rigsby Law Firm has created opportunities for businesses to experience the joy of ownership and protecting their brands by being approachable, accessible, and serving the community. The Rigsby Law Firm continues to bridge the gap and provide access to legal services in a way that meets the needs of current and aspiring business owners. The Rigsby Law Firm is the Valley's preferred business law firm, assisting federal trademarks, business formations, contracts, and so much more. Welcome, Salisha Rigsby, to the program.
Thank you so much for having me here tonight. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, so if you can, I did read your bio, please take a moment, reintroduce yourself, tell us a little bit about yourself, what brought you to this industry, how did you become so passionate about it?
Yes. Well, thank you, Jerry, for having me. So as Jerry stated, my name is Salisha Rigsby. I am the founder of the Rigsby Law Firm. So one thing that brought me to this, Jerry, even the Urban League in my very early days when I had a free business program in the community, I was able to host some of my events there. So it just started as a passion for the community. I was an assistant attorney general at the time, and I knew that I needed to be doing more in my community. So I started a free business program where business owners could come and learn about the legal woes of starting a business and growing their business. And from there, the need was, they wanted more. They were like, well, can you help us with this? And I'm like, well, I can. But so it kind of grew from just a passion to help the community. And now here we are.
So like I said, I've become an expert in dealing with chaos, and my computer just froze that quick.
That's all right.
It gets kind of scary sometimes, but nonetheless, so we'll be talking about trademarks and copyrights. And you mentioned, kind of your entry into the industry, but and we'll, before we get into the program, as I like to say, we like to warm the crowd and kind of lay the groundwork for what we're talking about. But in addition to that, why we're talking about it and the impact that you've seen on businesses. So, Salisha, I'll start with you.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's an abundant need for legal advice, particularly around the topic of trademarks and copyrights. So,
definitely,
in your experience, what have you seen is the most egregious mistake that some of these business owners have been making as it pertains to trademarks and copyrights?
It's just the eagerness. And, you can't take that away. They start a business, they come up with an idea, and they're ready to launch. without understanding that, you know, you have to protect something, you have to own it in order for you to be able to properly use it. So a lot of the mistakes that I've seen on the ugly side of trademarks is when a business owner is coming to me and they did launch, and someone is now, they've used their name, or then they find out they are actually using a name that belongs to someone else, and they are hit with a cease and desist, and they have to pay upwards of $20,000 to a company for using their name. So it's just that eagerness, but they were so eager to start, they didn't know that the name was taken, and
Right.
now they have to pay money that they really don't have because, you know, they're new in business. So I think that's the sadness. The sad part of being in business is, you know, when you're eager to start and then you find out you're using something that doesn't belong to you.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the idea of starting before you're ready to start, you know, often social media is like, don't wait, just get started today. When
Yep.
it looks great on the social media feed, but
Yeah.
this not so much.
Nope.
And I can only imagine you get a business started and realize, you know, your business, you know, the name that you're using, you just don't own it anymore.
You don't own it. You don't have it. And then the worst part is, I mean, and I think so when you find out early enough, right? So if you find out early on, you're like, oh, you find out someone else owns the business before they find out, and then you stop using it, that you're kind of saved at that point. But when you find out too late, and the way you find out is through a cease and desist letter, usually at that point, they're demanding money. And so starting out a business and then having to pay out money, you know, it kind of crushes business owners. So that's the sad truth of it.
Yeah, and I can imagine it not only you know, crushes, you know, it got to crush your spirit to some degree, right?
Yeah, definitely. It discourages them, you know, because it's like, you know, I only had, you know, $500 or $1,000 to start. And so I was so excited. And now it's like, in order to come out of this debt and pay the 20,000 or whatever it is that I owe, and then start over, yeah, their spirits are definitely weakened after that.
Right, sure. How about you, Summer? I know you work closely with some small businesses. Have you experienced any challenges with some clients, you know, kind of run into a roadblock like this?
I have, and a lot of it has to do, like Celicia said, it's that eagerness is it's not hiring the right people, to be honest, and that happens a lot. Social media is a huge proponent of starting, you know, your own business, being an entrepreneur, which I agree, you should always test it out, see if it works for you. However, there's so many back end things that you have to do to make sure that you are a legitimate business owner, and it's not just with licenses. It's just making sure, like you're saying, the names are correct, that nobody else has the name, that nobody, and people buy names just for this reason. I know Celicia's going to go over
Yes,
this.
yes.
Not me, business. Just because you haven't heard of it doesn't mean it doesn't
Yes.
exist. So it's that big thing where, yeah, it's a pool of information that we're not used to. Or if you're not an entrepreneur, if you haven't been through it, you might not be used to. You might want to bake cookies and you're just like, oh, I'm going to call these, you know, Summer's cookies. Well, somebody else who's not named that isn't Summer wants to call it Summer's Cookies too. There might be Celicia Cookies, Summer Cookie, Jerry Cookies. There's a bunch of cookie companies because that's like the easiest thing to do. So just be careful, be wise, hire the right people. And that's typically what I relate to people. I'm not the right person to hire for those things, but Celicia is. Those are the people that you're gonna hire.
Yeah, and we'll definitely give Celicia the opportunity to talk and outline, you know, some of the needs to knows and whatnot. Just again, if you are a loyal viewer of the program, you know, if you have a question, comment, concern, or even criticism, drop them in the comments. We will take a look at them. You know, if the criticism is too tough, we're going to withhold it. But no, we definitely want to be able to answer your questions while the program is happening. There's nothing like, you know, a real-time thought with a real-time answer. You can take some real-time action to that. So again, we'll save the questions for the end of the program. But if you have a question, drop it in the chat as soon as you see it. It might be opportunity to weave it into the program itself as opposed to waiting until the end. So be encouraged. We want to be able to answer your questions as readily as possible. So without any further ado, I know Summer's going to stay with us for the Q&A at the end of the program, and even just to follow up on some of the conversation that we had that's been led by Celicia. So Celicia, I will yield the floor to you. If you know, again, I'm at the point where I'm no longer embarrassed that my computer freezes sometimes, and I will acknowledge it to the audience. So I ask for your grace And I will yield the floor to Lisa. Take it away.
Yes, I am ready to take it away. Jerry, just really quick, do I have access to share my screen with my slides, or how are we doing that?
Yeah, so I would have to control the slides.
Okay.
So I'll cue that up for you right now. Well, actually, I attempted to, so waiting for it to take action.
Okay.
So bear with me. All right, and it looks like we queued up.
Okay. Sounds good. And you can do the open book. Is that the open book? The open book at the bottom will make it a little bigger, but won't take over your screen. It looks like a book and it's kind of open. Just for, if not, that's perfectly fine. I'm just thinking for those who may be a little blind like myself. But if not, that's perfectly fine. I can see it. Okay, great. Yep, that looks good.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Jerry. So welcome everyone. This is the Protect Your Brand Trademarks and Copyrights, edition of the Business Sense Bootcamp. So we'll go ahead and get right started with the legal disclaimer so that you all are aware that as an attorney, I will be providing information tonight about trademarks and copyrights. But I do want you all to know that nothing creates an attorney-client relationship with the information being provided, and this is for informational purposes only. So now that we have that out of the way, we can go ahead and jump right into it. We'll move over to the next slide that says, what is a business trademark? One more. There we go. So what is a business trademark? So overall, the first thing you want to know in your business is, what is this thing, right, that we're talking about? Trademarks. You probably have heard it, but what is it? It is essentially a protection that you have for your business that will protect a word, phrase, or symbol, or even a design, such as a logo, that identifies and distinguishes a source of goods. What does that mean, right? All of that. What does that mean? This means that a trademark is your receipt, right? Anytime you go somewhere, you get a receipt, right? You purchase something, you get a receipt. You buy a house, you get a receipt, right? You get something, a deed, a title, and it says that you own a thing, right? If you buy a house, you get it, right? And they give you something that says you have a deed, so you own it. Intellectual property is the same thing, right? So your trademark is saying, I own my brand name, I own my logo. A trademark is your receipt to say you own this thing. Okay. So that's the layman's terms, right? That's what a trademark is overall. So let's keep it moving. So now you know what a trademark is, right? It's your receipt to say you own your brand name or logo. But what can you trademark? So what are all the things you can trademark? There's tons of things that you can trademark when it comes to brand protection. You can trademark your logo. You can trademark your brand name. You can trademark a symbol or any combination of things. It's not just the name. It's not just the logo. There's tons of things that are associated with your business that you can actually protect with a trademark, as long as it is intended to distinguish what you do from what another business does, right? So as long as you're using it to distinguish your business, to market your business, to set you apart from your competitors, if it falls within one of these things, a symbol, a phrase, a name, a slogan, even a brand sound, a sound can be trademarked, right? Even that, if it's used to distinguish what you do, is something that you can trademark. I think the rising trend right now that I'm seeing in trademarks for brands is a hashtag. So we know, with algorithms and Instagram and Facebook and all of the things, using hashtags is a way for people to identify you or to find you. So those even now are being used for trademark purposes. So trademarking a hashtag that you're using to distinguish what you do from your competitors is also something that you can use to trademark and own. All right. So these are things you can trademark. All right, we will push it forward. And I'm glad that slide is there because I forgot to say podcast name. There are a lot of business owners who have a business, but they also have a podcast or a blog or vlog. You want to make sure you protect that. So one of the things to mention here, in one business, right? One business owner could have 6 trademarks, 7 trademarks, because you may have different parts of your brand, or you may have different things within your business that you want to protect or keep someone else from using. So just because you have a business and one brand name and one logo, there may be other parts within your business that you want to trademark, such as if you also have a podcast or a blog or a vlog, or other things. So you may qualify or may need to protect more aspects of your business. So those are some things you can actually look into when it is time for you to trademark your brand. All right. So are there any restrictions? So we always talk about get your brand trademark, trademark these things. What can't you trademark? So what are the restrictions around getting a trademark? One of the main things you want to think about or know when it's time to trademark your brand name is that there is generic names cannot be trademarked. For instance, if you sell pizza and you want to name your pizza shop pizza, you can't trademark it because it's a generic term, it's a generic name. So you want to actually make sure that your brand name is trademarkable, right? So there's a whole process, there's a whole thing surrounded around how to determine if my brand name even qualifies to be trademarked. So that's not even about if someone else is using it or if I'm infringing. There's just that beginning layer to say, is this even something that can be trademarked because of the type of name that it is? So you want to think about that. When it comes to slogans, a lot of businesses may use, passages and quotes and things of that nature. But if you didn't create it and you're not the owner of it, you can't just say it's my slogan because I use it, right? So you want to know these types of things when you are preparing your brand, so that when it's time for you to trademark it, you are already ahead of the game, right? You already know this is trademarkable. Now, the only determination I need for someone to make for me is, does it qualify, or is someone else using it, right? So these are some things that you can think about when preparing your brand for trademark. All right. Copyright. So trademark, we've discussed that, what it is, what it looks like. Copyrights, I feel like, is the underdog, right? Copyrights is like the underdog of intellectual property. A lot of people know about trademarks more so than copyrights, or sometimes they don't even know the difference between the two, so they call one the other. That's perfectly fine. We're going to explain it for you here tonight. But a copyright is also a form of protection that is provided by the government for you in your brands or in your business, right? So it's a form of a protection that you are provided. And essentially what this does is it protects, I like to say, the inward parts of the business, right? Your brand name, your logo, and all of those things. That's kind of like the outward part of your business. That's what people see, right? When they come to your social media pages, they see your name, they see your logo, they see the look of it, right? And that's typically what you trademark. Copyright is more so like the inner workings of a business. This is like your blogs, your podcast content. If you write music, something like that. If you have any ebooks in your business, these are the types of things that you would copyright, because it's a written medium that actually expresses an idea, right? So it's not just the name of the idea; it expresses an idea. It has content, right? I'm sure all of you have opened a book at some point in your life, right? And at the front of that book, in a few of the first pages, you see that enclosed C, and it has some dates and things of that nature. So books can be copyrighted. So that is what copyright is used to do. It is used to protect the expressions of your ideas that are actually written down somewhere, or recorded for a means. So copyright, think inner parts of the business. Trademark, think outward parts of the business. Okay? All right. And so here are a few tips about copyrights, the underdog, as I like to call it. When you create something, when you write something down, when you create a program, or when you create an ebook or anything like that, the government, the copyright.gov, it gives you automatic protection. So just from creating the thing, you have like common law copyright protections just from creating it. So I always suggest, when you create something, you put the enclosed C on there and the year or date that it was created, right? So at the bottom of your ebook or whatever it is, you put copyright, your name, and the year that you created it. Because you automatically get those protections without doing anything, right? Without registering it, without doing anything, you get some rights to copyright. So make sure that you're using the enclosed C, because that is something that you are provided from the government. So why not use it, right? But also know, just because you use it doesn't mean you own it. So like I talked about with the, for instance, Bible passages or quotes from famous people, right? It has to be original and it has to be created by you. So you can't just put copyright on an ebook, but you copy all of the information in the ebook from somewhere else. It has to be original. So operative term there is original. Okay. Um, and then you, until your work has been written down on paper, it's not copyrightable, right? So if you think about it and you're like, oh, I have this whole great ebook idea in my head, it's never been written down anywhere, you can't protect it, right? So it has to be written down into an actual tangible means. So you want to make sure that it is tangible. All right. You guys with me? You out there making sure you're following along? We're talking about some tips for trademarks and, excuse me, copyrights right now, and some of the things that you can do or learn about when you are in business. So here are a few things that, like we talked about restrictions to trademarks, there are some things that you just cannot copyright, right? So book titles, pen names, company names, group names, product names, phrases, slogans, catchwords, right? So there are certain things that you can't copyright because it doesn't fall within that protection. For instance, company name. Well, if you're paying attention, then you know that, well, you can't copyright that, but what can you do with that? You can trademark it, right? So just because it's on a restriction for copyright doesn't mean you don't have any protections to it. So when you are starting your business, right? When you are in your business, right? One of the main things you need to be made aware of is, how do you protect your business, right? Certain parts of your business may need to be protected by a trademark. Certain parts may need to be protected by a copyright, and certain parts may need to be protected by a contract, right? So there are different phases, different parts of your business that needs protecting in order for you to actually own it and actually be able to scale and grow. And it's important for you to know which one of these services protects what parts of your business. Okay. All right. So biggest thing here. So we talked about what is a trademark, right? We told you what it is, what it does. We've talked about what is a copyright, what it is and what it does. And so now the key thing to know, well, what's the difference between the two, right? You said copyright protects something, trademark protects another thing. What is the difference between the two and how should you use them in your business? Okay, the biggest difference to note is that that example that I provided to you earlier, right? Trademark is kind of like the outward protection, right? So when you wake up, you show up as a business, you have a name, you have a logo. It's the face of the company. Those means are protected by trademark, right? And then copyright are the things within the business, right? Your creative ideas, your creative ebooks, your content. So prime example or easiest way to understand it, let's say you have a podcast, right? So let's take the podcast, for example. If you have a podcast, you name the podcast the Rigsby Podcast, right? In the Rigsby Podcast, we talk about how to protect your business, and we have a lot of episodes on things you should do about your business. Okay, so how would we use a trademark and copyright in this scenario? For a podcast, we would trademark the name of the podcast. So we called it the Rigsby Podcast. We would trademark the Rigsby Podcast as the name, the outward portion of the podcast. And then for copyright, we would then copyright the recorded episodes that tells you how to run your business, scale your business, all of the episode recorded tangible content, we would use copyright protection to copyright that. So in one piece of your business, it is likely to use a trademark for a piece of it and a copyright for the other piece. So together, you have the ultimate protection, but it's important to know when to use which one. But in that meantime, remember, with copyright, you have automatic protection. With trademarks, you have some common law protection with the TM, but not much. So differences, think trademark outward portions of your business, copyright, think inward portions of your business. Okay. I hope I didn't lose you guys on that. All right. So you heard me say here, that with copyright, you have some, automatic protections, and with trademark, you have something called common law protections. So why do you need to register it, right? If you follow the Rigsby Law Firm or me personally, I always say register your brand, register your copyrights, register your trademarks. Well, why register if you have common law? I'm glad you asked. So, and on the next slide, here are some benefits of registration. The main thing, this is what I tell most people, right? If I am going to start a business, my goal is to grow that business, scale that business, make a lot of money off of that business, and impact a lot of people on the way, obviously. But within that, if I'm going to say, oh, I'm going to have $1 million business, why would I not want to register it and protect it to the fullest extent, right? If you tell me that I can have a little bit of protection for my big business idea, why would I take a little when a lot takes me much further, right? So the thing that you keep in mind, benefits of registration is, let's say you are using the Rigsby podcast. Let's go back to that example. And you find out someone has taken your content and they are word by word using your entire business, right? They're saying everything that you're saying. They've copied your entire business and they're making a ton of money off of it. And now you're mad. They're using the name of your business. They're making money off of people thinking that you are their business. And all of the traffic is going to them. You find out about it. You're upset. This is my business. This is my name. I have these common law rights to it. What do you want to do? Well, you're going to want them to stop using it. You're going to want to have some recourse against them. You're going to want to make them stop. Without registration, you have no legal recourse against infringement. None. You have no standing in court. So it's like registration is how you actually protect the brand. So registration is what gives you ownership. It's what gives you actual brand protection. It builds brand trust because if someone is going to another business thinking that they are you, you can't shut them down if you don't have registration. So with registration, the trust that you're building with your community is stronger because you can shut down someone else and you can let your audience know, hey, nope, this is me. This is the correct me. Apologize for the inconvenience there, but this is the brand that you have grown to trust. And then in a lot of business deals, depending on if you're looking into investments, getting on the shelves in stores, wanting your products in like the big box offices, things like that, trademarks registration is required for some of those business deals. And then it's a financial asset, right? Just like a home is a financial investment, a trademark is also a financial asset to your business, and it is also can be used as an investment tool. So benefits or purpose here, register your trademark, register your copyright, because that's how you get full ownership for your business. All right. So you're watching, you have a business, right? You're thinking about starting a business. Do you need this federal trademark, right? How do you know if you need a trademark? Well, here are 5 questions to help you determine if you actually need a federal trademark, right? Is this something for you, or is this information you should just pass along to someone else? 5 questions. Do you sell a product or service? Do you provide information via a blog, vlog, or podcast? Do you share information that you create from your own ideas and you want to keep someone else from using it? Do you have a website, or do you intend to have a website for services, products, or just information? Do you use social media to market, promote, or share your products, services, or information? If you answer yes to either of those 5 questions, then you need a federal trademark. If I want to copyright my audio or video content, do I have to transcribe it first? Good question. Yes, it has to be in a tangible meaning, right? Oh, you said transcribe. Or so you can do the recording, right? So it's considered transcribed or in a tangible mean if it's recorded. I would suggest transcribing it, especially if you are like me with a very Southern accent, and you want to make sure that your words are actually captured properly. So I would suggest it definitely. Good question. And if there are any more questions, just drop them in the comments and we'll get to them. All right. So now what do you need an actual copyright, right? Do you need a copyright for your business? 5 questions to determine if you need a copyright. Do you provide information online via a blog, or podcast? That should look familiar. Do you create books from your own ideas or want to keep someone else from using them? Do you have any ebooks or workbooks that you've created? Any programs that you've created in your business? Do you have photos, right, that you have taken that you would like protected from theft? So, are you a photographer? Do you have a photography business? Do you have any songs, literature, dances? Yes, choreography can be copyrighted, or any creative works that you would like to be protected. If yes to any of these services that you offer in your business, then a copyright may also be something that you need for your business. All right, so that was a lot in a very short, quick time frame. And with the recap, I really want to give you some more just like tips, some tips of some things that you can think about. So what can you really take away from what you're learning tonight? Overall, you need a federal trademark. If you're in business and you have a brand name, which if you're in business, you have a brand name, right? You have a name. You need a federal trademark. A lot of people start with the state trademark. And so the difference between the state trademark versus the federal trademark is that a state trademark only protects you in the state that you have the trademark in. So how is that problematic? So let's say, for instance, you're in Arizona. And in Arizona, let's say you have a trademark, but you also have a website. So let's say you sell, I don't know, t-shirts, right? Let's say you sell t-shirts and you have a website. People can go on that website and purchase a t-shirt from you. If you only have a trademark in the state of Arizona, then the name of your business or the name of your brand can only be protected in the state of Arizona. If you have a website, you're not only in the state of Arizona because the Great Web allows you to travel virtually so that when people purchase shirts from you, you are crossing state lines virtually or in e-commerce. And so by these people buying shirts in Florida, in Georgia, in Texas, in California, wherever they buy a shirt from, if your name isn't protected in those states, you could run the risk of infringement. So a state trademark does not provide you with full protection when you have an online presence. So state trademarks do not provide you with full protection. Here at the Rigsby Law Firm, we honestly don't even mention them much or recommend them for businesses because we always work with our businesses and say that, we know you're going to grow and we know that you're going to use social media. So if you're even advertising in other states, which if you're online, you can't restrict who you're advertising to and where. So a federal trademark is the way to go. Okay. So what is a trademark? Remember, it is your receipt. It says that you own your brand name. So when you have a federal trademark, you own your brand name or whatever parts of your brand you decide to trademark. And remember, in business, it's very common for business owners to have 7+ trademarks, depending on how many things they have within their business. What can you trademark? Remember, you can trademark a logo, a slogan, a hashtag, your brand name, and a slogan within your brand. What are the restrictions to trademarks? Remember, generic terms you can't have, right? So if you have a pizza parlor and you want to name it pizza, you can't trademark that, right? And there are a few other things there you want to keep in mind, such as, are you using something that is original to you? Did you create it, right? So that's very important. And then we talked about what is a copyright. Remember, a copyright, we're talking about the inward parts of the business. So that is where you have something reduced to a written, tangible mean, right? It could be a recording, it can be a book, but it has to be able to be turned in, right? So it has to be uploaded, right? So even if you are a photographer, they're very important to a photographer's work, right? If you have a photography business, copywriting your photos is important, especially with the online world we live in. I mean, you can take a photo from someone in like 0.5 seconds, right? So as a photographer who is this is their livelihood, copyright protection is very important in that industry. And what can you copyright? Remember, photos. You can copyright. I'm just saying, get your question. Oh, and you can copyright books, ebooks, the content of your podcast, your blogs. I've even seen people copyright recipe books. There's a few things that you have to have in place for recipe. You can't just copyright a recipe. It has to be more detailed. So in business, though, mostly the things that we typically see individuals copyright are their ebooks that they create. We've even copyrighted some manuals for individuals. And we've even, I think a big one that we've seen lately is the copywriting of presentations. So since it's virtual, right? We're in this virtual time right now, so a lot of presentations are just virtual and online. So a lot of business owners are wanting to protect their presentations. So we've seen an increase there. Copyright restrictions. Remember, if you didn't create it, you can't copyright it, right? You have to own it, and it has to be original to you, and it has to be creative. So t-shirt designs, a lot. I think, oh yeah, t-shirt designs is a big one as well. To copyright your t-shirt design, it actually has to be considered creative, right? It can't just be copyright, right? It can't be the word copyright. That's not creative. That's not thoughtful. So it has to be something creative in order for you to be able to copyright that. So know those. Difference between a trademark and a copyright. Remember, trademark outward parts is what people see when they first see you. That's usually your name or your logo. And then copyright is usually the things that you're doing inside of the business, such as presentations, such as what else? Copyright presentations. You have your ebooks. You have all of the written, tangible means within the business. And then lastly, we talked about the registration benefits. And the overall thing to take from what you can register and why you should register is so that you can own it, right? And so that if you see someone using your brand name, you don't a Facebook post being angry is not enough, right? Nothing's really going to happen from that. Yes, your friends and everyone in your comments will be angry with you, but legally, if you do not have a trademark, a federal trademark, I like to say it's community property, right? You're giving it away. No one stole it. You gave it away, right? You put it online and someone saw it. They thought it was a great idea too. So registering your brand, registering your trademarks and your copyrights is the ultimate way to protect your business. Thank you. Thank you so much, Sonia. All right, so we are at the Q&A session. As an attorney, ethically, there are certain things that I cannot answer. And if it's a question that's considered red, we let you know that it is a red question. And if it is something that I can't answer, it's a green question and we go for it. So I am open for all of the questions about business, even if it's not trademark related or copyright related. I'm totally open to the questions. So you all let me know and I am here for you.
Alicia, I have to tell you, I have so many questions, and it's like, yeah. So actually, one of the questions that you answered earlier, I was making a note just to come back to it, but you did answer it. So, but if I may, I'll just go back to it, flash on the screen, let everybody know what the question was. If I want to copyright my audio or video content, do I have to transcribe it first? And the answer to that was no.
So, oh, go ahead. Oh, you're answering it.
You're the expert.
Okay, yeah, thank you. So, I recommend it, right? I recommend that you transcribe it before going through it because, again, we all speak differently. We all have inflections, and transcribing it is definitely something you would want to do. It's a part. If you're working with us, it's a part of the process. Like it has to be transcribed before we move forward.
Okay, excellent question from Jerry McPherson. If you don't know me.
Oh my.
Yeah, we have another question. Everyone in the audience, feel free to get your questions in now. This is the time. And actually, before I get to the question, I would like to flash a comment. And Sonia says your format for sharing out this info is fantastic and educational. So
thank you. I appreciate that.
We want to make sure we're handing out the roses when they are being delivered.
I appreciate it.
So Sony has another question. She deserves a question because she gave a compliment first, right?
She did.
Are there flat fees attached to each of these areas, or is the dollar amount dependent on what you're doing?
Oh, for the copyright or no. So flat fees. So the flat fee for application fees. It doesn't matter if you're registering a slogan versus a logo. It's the same flat fee associated with the registration.
Okay, so flat fee it is. And so I have a bunch of questions, but again, trying to be as
help out. Well, send them away. Some people may not know what to ask, so let's just give them what they need, Jerry.
Yeah. So I'm actually gonna bring someone in for the
Okay.
the conversation. I'm sure she has questions too, and will likely be the supply of some answers as well. So welcome back to the program.
I was waving. I'm like, I have a question.
Someone said, "Don't tune me out."
It's like, wait. I don't even know how to use the comment section. That's the only reason why my hands are waving in the background. So one of my things was a lot of the times I see people say, I'll get to it. I'll get to trademarks. I'll get to copyright. And then sometimes it's kind of, oh, shoot, I need a trademark, or oh, shoot, I need to copyright this. So what's the time frame, if you can explain kind of what it takes in regards to timeframes for both the trademark and the copyright, or even the federal registration?
So time frame. So
if they have everything.
Said something there. Okay, so you said a few things there. Time frame. I'm going to answer that in two parts too, because I'm going to say the time frame that it takes actually too. So when you are starting a business, the best time to get the trademark process started is at the beginning, right? As soon as you're like, oh, I'm registering as an LLC or a corporate or whatever or nonprofit, that's the time to go through the trademark process. We love businesses who reach out to us and they're like, hey, I'm thinking of starting a business and I want you to help me with my business formation. We stop you right there and say, hey, let's go through a trademark search to make sure that this name is even available for a trademark before we even go through the business setup process, right? So the beginning, you don't need anything in place to know that the name is available.
Cool. I like that.
Yeah. So, and then the other piece of that, as far as time frames from actual registration. So let's say you go through and you're like, yes, let's trademark it. From submitting the application to actual approval, it can take anywhere from 6 months to 18 months. Okay. So it's a lengthy process anyway. So it's like, get it started early. And then,
Yes, because somebody's using your information. They can use it all the way up until that thing is trademarked or until the thing is copywritten. So, okay.
Yeah.
That's an interesting point. It's kind of like just taking your medicine, like the time frame is discouraging, but it's not going to get any quicker if you wait. So, kind of just got to swallow the pill.
Right. But the beauty of it is in the US, when you file a federal trademark in the US, we are in a first to file. Our law is first to file. So let's say I'm like, oh, I'm going to wait. It takes so long. And this has happened. So great point. And I speak to someone, we have a consultation in January and they're like, oh, yeah, I'm going to do it. And then they wait and they come back in May. Someone else has filed. They've already filed. It's now their trademark. So the beauty of it is do it scared, do it afraid, but you start in January not knowing where it's going to go. And it's better to file and be the first to file because now you have senior rights if someone else tries to come around and say it's theirs. So first to file is where it's at.
So red light, green light, let me know.
Okay.
If we're both doing it, the same thing, and let's say I've been doing something longer, this person just popped up out of nowhere, stole all my stuff, and then trademarked it, I'm left out in the cold. I don't have any rights to anything that I've been doing for, let's say, the last 2 years that I've been putting it together.
There is, so in the presentation, I told you about common law rights. So you have some argument, right? You have some argument that I've been using this thing and it is mine. That argument won't take you far in life, right? Because whoever trademarks it owns it, right? And that's the dirty truth of business, right? You know, inventions, people have created things for years and years and years, and there was no protections for them to have their ideas protected. The government is like, we're giving you something, okay? People have been stealing your ideas and your inventions for years and years and years, and now we're saying, well, all you have to do is let us know that you invented it, and we won't let anybody else steal it. If you sit down and create something and you don't think it's important enough to protect it, so now you want us to then say, well, they can't have it because they took the time to go and trademark it. So it's really like the answer is you have a very weak argument and it probably won't get you anywhere.
Perfect. Such a lawyer.
I don't know where that came from, but that ding was
That was a perfect ding.
That was nice. I don't know how to turn that off either.
That was perfect though.
yeah, like if you haven't taken the time to protect them, why would the government care? So I have a question, but it's more like a statement because I kind of know the answer, but I think it's important to get out into the universe. That and I remember when you and I had our consultation actually about trademarking within the state. Yep. And one of the points that you made was it actually may be counterproductive is that you trademark protected in Arizona, let's say, but someone catches wind of it and says, "Oh, this is genius," and then tries to trademark it in 49 other states. And then now I've siloed myself. I introduced the world to a great idea, but I just kind of keyed in someone else onto that. Can you talk about that idea a bit?
Definitely. And then you said 49 states. No, it's in 50 states too, because what they'll do is they can get a federal trademark and that will bar. So they can have it in Arizona too, federally, right? So if they go to get a federal trademark, right? The USPTO is not going to say you can't have this name because someone in little old Arizona has this state trademark. It doesn't work that way. So most people are like, well, what is the point? I really don't know why they created you to have a state trademark. Well, I do know. So it was created when, in states where they're the mom and pop shops, right? Back in the day before internet was created, right? No one was, virtually traveling in states and things of that nature. So it was created for the fact that back in the day, you really did only do business in the state that you were in, right? You come to my store, you purchase something from me, you leave. So now I have protections in the state that I'm doing business in. So there was a time and place where we did only operate in the state that we were in, and to do business outside of the state was just cumbersome, right? So it wasn't thought of. But now with the virtual world, a state trademark provides you no protection. So the main thing, the thought of that is, yes, it can put people on alert, but the other piece of it is, if you're taking the time to know that you need some protection, go all the way. We just need to stop selling ourselves short. That's really the answer. We know we need protection. We're like, oh yeah, this is $60. That's $2,000. I'm not gonna do it. But when you think about the fact that you can easily make $100,000 in a month or a year, what's $2,000 to protect a $1 million brand? So it's just a matter of stop selling yourself short. That's all it is.
So you actually touched upon maybe the elephant in the room, fly in the ointment, the bug in the suit of the reason why the reason why this programming is even being put forth. Because we understand that there's so many of these topics that our community is unaware of, and it's also part of an opportunity for us to educate our community and let them know that this isn't one of the areas that you need to pass up, or this isn't one of the areas that you just or I can handle this on my own. Like, this is the area that you need to invest in. Some areas, maybe it's social media, maybe it's even registering the business. Maybe that's the opportunity. But there's some things that this is to fully commit, and this is indeed one of them.
Yep. Yes, this is the bread and butter of any business. Could you imagine, just imagine if Nike didn't trademark their logo or their slogan. Imagine a world where anybody could go and use the Nike check. We'd all be getting checks, right? Like, could you imagine a world where Adidas or all of the popular brands, if when they started in their basements, they didn't think that their brand was worthy enough for a trademark? Could you imagine the mayhem, or somebody sitting back like, you're getting fired because you didn't tell me to trademark my brand? We all start somewhere. We all start as, an idea that grows. But you have to believe enough in your brand early on that you understand the value in protecting it. And I feel like that's usually the push that I get when I'm speaking to business owners, sometimes they just don't see the value in it. And I say, if you don't see the value in a trademark, you don't see the value in what you're doing, because your idea could tomorrow, especially in virtual world, anybody can go viral in a second. And now you have people reaching out to you, and now people know about the brand. They didn't know about the brand. Now someone wants to take it from you so that they can be the ones that seem like they went viral. It's a thing and it happens. So you have to be willing to understand the value of protecting what you create.
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it better. We do have another question coming in from the audience, and this is again from Sonia. She has
Sonia's on fire. I love it.
Yes, she's earned these questions. We appreciate them. We're teasing you, Sonia, but please keep the questions coming in if you have any more. You mentioned earlier that some things are not able to be trademarked. How is that decided, and who makes that determination?
That is a really good question. So the government makes that determination. So if you aren't familiar, and I didn't give you this, and I apologize. So for those of you who may be hearing about trademarks for the first time, the website for you to learn about trademarks is on uspto.gov. And so if you go to the uspto.gov's website and you look up the tab that says trademarks, it'll give you all of the information. It's very detailed. It gives you a ton of information about brand names, what names can't be trademarked, what to look for in your brand name. So all of that information, Sonia, is free and available to you on the uspto.gov's website that was just typed in the chat. So check that out. And they do decide it. You'll see a chart that they have in there. It's very detailed, and it'll show you exactly how they even make that determination.
And that definitely helps with educating you on what can and cannot be. But of course, at some point, you may have to engage with a legal expert. And if you have paying attention, I know one.
I know one too.
So I just want to pull that website on the screen, more uspto.gov.
Yes. And the other one, Jerry, to type for them too is for copyrights. It's copyright.gov. So nothing fancy there. The copyright.gov website as well. That one will give you information on what you can copyright and what not. And you can always check our website. We have freebies and blogs on copyrights and trademarks and all of those things. So www.rigsbylawfirm.com can answer a lot of your questions. And we have a lot of free downloads. So we do a lot for our community to make sure that you can get access to this information.
Okay. We got another question that came in, and I'll try my best to pronounce it, but is it just Q, Blue Solutions? Does your business offer any clarity services for people who need assistance with making the decision to proceed with the trademark for their brand name or logo?
Good question. We do. So we offer, so there's two parts to it. So you can book a discovery consultation, which in a discovery consultation, we will help you decide if a logo is best or if your name is the best. We always recommend you do both, but we also understand that sometimes financially, that isn't the best or feasible thing for people to do at that time. So we determine a few things, or we ask you a few questions to determine which one would be best for you. And outside of our standard discovery consultations, we also have strategy sessions. If you're just confused on it all, we have business strategy sessions where we can help you gain clarity on your brand and then to determine what's the best next step for you. So yes.
And you mentioned it early in the broadcast when you was hosting some events at the Greater Phoenix Urban League at our headquarters down here. I can attest to it that Salisha has been out in the community doing these free workshops, free boot camps, volunteered her time today. So it's definitely been a labor of love.
Yep.
But, this content is just of the utmost importance. So I know personally, I'm happy to be able to connect with you and share some of this wisdom with our audience. So
thank you. Thank you so much.
If y'all in the audience, we got just a few more minutes of Shalisha's most valuable time. Please drop it in the chat. We want to get your questions answered. If none, I can pepper you with maybe two or three more questions.
I'm here. I love the questions because I know that even if they watch the playback, because I went and watched a ton of the playbacks, and there was one that you had on, and it was some information. I was like, oh, this is something I need to know. So even the playback information will be more than beneficial to them. So yeah.
I can't tell you, even sitting through the program is like informative, and I'm scratching my head, getting new wrinkles in my brain for new information I learned. So I'm really happy we can put this
Yes.
content, but like the series together as well. Someone, it looked like you had another question you want to get in.
I do. And it happens. Anyone, no one's an expert in everything. So I am so happy that you're here, and I thank you so much, because everybody is like, oh yeah, no, I think so a lot of these questions I ask for the community. Most of them I ask for myself. It's okay. This is what we do.
Yes.
It's 30. Okay. we can ask these questions. But this one actually is for the community. So if someone had not started anything, no business, they just have this idea, they want to get started, they don't know how or where, are you the service provider to go to get started, or do you collaborate or partner with other organizations that start as well? So kind of tell me, what is it that you do to encompass everything?
Right. So we are the business startup. That's what we do, right? We start the businesses. Yes, we form the LLCs. We write the operating agreements. We tell them how to go get the business bank account. So we are a full service business law firm. So that means if you want to start a business and you come and you're like, I have an idea, I'm not quite sure what to do with the idea. I don't even know what to call the idea, but I want to start and I need help. We can start them on that. So we have programs that starts them with the startup program. And so we take them from beginning to end, right? So we're full service business law firm. We have to start the business, grow the business, protect it, and scale it.
Okay. And then also, is this for profit and nonprofit, or is this specific?
Nope, we do for-profit and nonprofits. So we help you, nonprofits too. I always have to throw this in there because sometimes nonprofits think that, oh, they're a nonprofit, they don't need a trademark. Yes, you do, because you're a business. You're a business. But yes, no, we help with for-profit and nonprofit.
Perfect. Because I mean, if you've never done it before, if you've never started your own business as for-profit, it's difficult. If you have a for-profit and you think you want to start a nonprofit, it's harder than the for-profit. So
the nonprofit is, honestly speaking, nonprofits are way harder than for-profits. Yes. Way harder. I mean, you really have to have that passion gene. If you're not passionate about it, you probably just shouldn't do
it. Exactly. If you're not going to do it for free, don't do it at all.
Don't do it at all.
That's all.
I know I'm underlining your earlier points, but that is something to drop home as well, because just as much as it's our responsibility in our respective positions to educate our community on what they need to know, I think it's also important that we make them aware of some of these things that they haven't thought about. So like the idea of starting a nonprofit. If you don't walk into that, your new business with capital to get up and running, don't think you're going to be able to draw a salary. And a lot of grantors, they don't want to give money to a new nonprofit and/or believe that they are funding your entire operating budget. So that is something to be mindful of. And again, you're walking into this as a business, trademark it, treat it as if it's your own, because effectively, it belongs to the public, but you control it, obviously. So yeah, I think that's an important note that we want to share. We got more questions coming in from the audience, and I know, Salisha, your time, as I mentioned earlier, and both of your time is valuable. So we'll take maybe 2-3 more questions. Is that all right?
Yeah, that's fine by me. I am here for the people.
Yes, I'm good.
Listen, I am quick comment. Has nothing to do with trademarks, but I have been on a 10-day vegetable and fruit cleanse. So I have learned patience in a new way. So I am here. I'm here.
And I'm going to assume you have newfound energy because of that. So it's about
honestly, energy and the skin, I am just in awe. Yeah, but honestly, the energy was the day 1 and 2, not so much. But now, yes, I have some. It's amazing.
Yes, your skin is glowing. I was thinking as soon as you signed on today, I was able to share it in a very inappropriate way. So I'm glad I was able to get that opportunity.
Like I didn't bring it up, you did.
We got another question from, I believe it's Q, Business Solutions. Is there a preference on whether a business should trademark their brand or logo first?
That is a hard one. So I'll tell you, my original belief was always name, right? Because, logo, you can change it. But I have grown to actually feel like more of my recommendation I'm finding to be which one is the business using the most of, right? So what are they putting on their packaging? Are they putting the name? Or are they actually putting the logo? Or what are they plastering on social media? Is it the actual name or is it the logo? So if we have to make a decision on, I have to go with one first, which one is the best one to go with? I am now more so recommending what is the client using the most of, because that's where they're going to get the most bang for their buck. But theoretically, the name is usually where you start because it's your name. It's what you're going to use the most of. It's what you're known as. It's what you're entering into contracts as. And it's harder to, no one wants to let go of their name, right? Easily, if let's say, for instance, if you're Q Blue Solutions, right, your name is your name. But let's say a logo, let's say someone else takes it. Well, instead of saying Q in your logo, you could do KB, you can do KDS. There's a variety of things that can keep you on brand. But if your name is taking, well, you got to change everything, right? So you got to change everything. So it's a depends. Sorry, very lawyer answer. Sorry.
Indeed, a very lawyer answer, but
Sorry.
it's like which of the two you're using most is probably will help guide that answer.
Yeah, that's kind of like if I have to be stuck in a box with it, that's probably what I would say is which one are they using the most for? Which one is front facing right now? Best case scenario is they have the capital to go ahead and do both. If not, then which one are you using the most of?
We have another question coming in from Christina Thornton. Are there any limits to acquiring your services if the business owned is out of state? For example, do you offer clarity or consultation for those acquiring a business via a quick claim deed?
So there are limitations for my services depending on if they're state-specific services. If it's a trademark, if it's a copyright, that is federal law, and so there are no limitations. I can represent you in any state for those matters. General business clarity questions on how to guide you through business is considered coaching and not necessarily legal advice. There are no limitations there either. A quick claim deed, typically those things are state-specific, so there would be some limitations there.
And I'm glad we can give a more direct answer for that question without the lawyer legalese.
I gave it to you straight. That was a good one. That was a good one. That was a very green question, so I like that one.
Got it. So it doesn't look like we have any more questions coming in. So Summer, I know you're chock with questions. And any more you want to?
No, he did not do you like that, Summer.
He always does. He always does. I love Jerry. I do. Well, it's not that I have any questions. It's just comments, and it's for the audience, for the people streaming, for the people who are here. Understanding the things you don't understand. It's okay to not know it, because you're not going to trademark. You're not going to be the trademark guru. You're not going to do that unless it's your business. Like CPAs. You're not going to be the CPA for your business unless that's your business. You want to hire these services so that your business can thrive and you can do the things that you love doing. Well, no matter what it is, nobody wants to sit behind and learn how to trademark, learn how to copyright, learn how to count everything that you're not supposed to count and everything you are supposed to count. Nobody wants to learn tax law. Nobody wants to learn those things unless that's your passion. I'm sorry, Jerry. That's your passion.
It's his passion.
Yeah, but I'm here as an employee of the Urban League now, so
you are, but your passion is still numbers. I know you, Jerry.
He's a numbers guy. He is.
He's a numbers guy. And you asked me to add something, even though I'm the bank, I still bring up my calculator. I start adding things. We were like, do you really? Yes, I need a calculator. I'm not a mathematician. So there's certain things you love, certain things you do get in business for, and hire those for the things that you don't love. I mean, that's what they're there for. They can take all of that stress away and they can do it graciously and they'd be happy to do it because they can save you. And even if you do learn whatever you can on YouTube or Google, which is not the end all be all, but just if you learn something, it's not always going to be correct. So the time, the energy, the cost, make sure that your time matches the dollars that you spend. So
I like that.
Yeah, if you spend a month trying to figure this out and your hourly wage for your business, you believe you're worth $200 an hour, you just wasted a ton of money. Where you hire someone to cover those areas that you can go make more money on. So I'm just saying, I'm all for it. I love it. I absolutely think it's a fantastic way of doing business. And Salisha, you're here in Phoenix, is that correct?
Correct. I'm in Phoenix.
You're in Phoenix. Okay. So she is in Phoenix. She's here. She's with us. She knows the community. How long have you been in Phoenix?
Since 2012.
So she's been here for a minute. She's been the summers. She's good. She knows. Yes. Yeah, she's not going anywhere. This is who you want to talk to, just especially to start your business. And I'll give you one quick testimony in regards to one of my businesses. Yes, I'm Comerica Bank. I'm representing Comerica Bank right now, but my brothers and I have a nonprofit. Two of them are attorneys. One of is social media person, and then there's me. And four of us are like, how do we do a nonprofit? It was ridiculous. You don't know. We're like, we don't know. That's not our areas of expertise. We had no idea what to do. One of my brothers went online. He's like, oh no, we're going to hire another attorney for this. I think we hired other attorneys. Half of our team being attorneys. So you know what you know.
You know what you know.
You know what you know. You pay for what you don't. So I just think everyone to take care of that.
That is interesting, particularly if a lawyer themselves is telling you, I need to hire. That should be a clue that it's okay to pass this off. The other thing that, particularly the trademarks and copyrights, I think it's safe to acknowledge that there's a lot of nuance to filing a trademark. And if you fall into the category, you got a clean cut case, you try to do it yourself, maybe you'll get by. But what if the probability of it is you fall into, a case with nuance that requires interpretation and back and forth, like you just flush $2,000 down the drain or whatever the cost of registration was if you did not hire a professional and not just a professional, expert.
Expert. I like that word. And you know what, Jerry, and I think that that's the piece of the puzzle that a lot of people say, right? I can go do this myself. I don't need an expert. I'll be very honest with you. To file the actual application, you do not have to be a genius to file the application, but you don't hire an expert or an attorney to file the application. You're hiring for that expertise about, is this brand even trademarkable? Because no one's going to bar you from filing the application. So there's no checks and balances where the USPTO is like, you can't file it because it's not trademarkable. No, they're going to take your money. They're going to allow you to file that application, even though it's not trademarkable. And when they get to the review, they're going to say denied, or we need a legal argument. The people that are reviewing your application when you file at the USPTO are trademark attorneys. These are not customer service representatives, somebody that they just hired. These are attorneys with 10, 20, 30-year experience reviewing this application. So when you get an email, you're talking to a trademark attorney. Right. It's like, why? Guess who knows attorneys best? No. Right? Who would even want to? It's kind of like, yeah, I could. Yeah, and I could probably figure out how to YouTube my oil change, but I'm not going to. Right? I'm going to take my car to a mechanic. So the point there is definitely, it's not rocket science to file the application, but the expert brings you with information. We can strategize. I can let you know, hey, yeah, this is a great brand name. I know you love it, but guess what? It's not going to pass, right? It's not going. So let's strategize on how to make your brand better and actually file an application that has probability to get approved. So you're paying for more than just the filing of an application.
We got another question in, and as promised, this will be the third question. This open Pandora's box. If you're sticking around, I'll stick around.
Oh, that's a good one.
But should a business register in various classes initially, or can they update the classes down the road?
I love that question. So I didn't touch on classes because we didn't do an in-depth trademark training. So for those of you who may not understand what the question is, I'll give you very quickly. Classes are the industry or the different categories that your brand is in. For instance, like I gave an example earlier about t-shirts, if you are a t-shirt business, you would be in class 025. So all that means is the government has come up with numbers that are associated with every service or product that's out there, right? If you're in cosmetics, you're 003, right? So there is a 3-digit number associated with every industry that is out there that the government has assigned to it. So just explaining that for people who may have, like, what is she talking about classes? So that's the category in which your trademark will be filed in. So back to the question, should a business register it in various classes initially, or can they update it? You can always update it. So the recommendation just depends on what your brand does. So if you are, in business and you sell t-shirts and you do other things, you may need multiple classes. But if financially that isn't something that you can do upfront, then you can always add it later. The only caveat to that is when you go to add it, you have to file a whole new application to add in a class. So there's not a button where you can just click add a class. It's actually a whole new application. So if it is possible to add it all at once up front, it's easier that way. But it's not the end all be all. If you can't add it up front, you can always go back and add it later.
So I don't want to paint you into a corner as far as pricing goes, but typically speaking,
Oh, you can pin me into a corner for that. That's fine.
Okay. Would it be cheaper to file 2 classes at once versus doing them separately?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is. It is. That is a great point. So yeah, it is cheaper to do it all at once because again, to go back and add it, you're doing a whole new application.
Got it. Got it. So it doesn't look like we have any further questions.
This was good.
Sure, you got some new clients that'll be on your calendar over the next couple of days because these folks are asking some excellent questions.
Excellent.
That weren't just run-of-the-mill curiosities, folks. Yeah. Business owners are those ready to take action. So that is, again, a great opportunity for us to bring this content to the greater Phoenix community. Salisha, we greatly appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Energy, efforts, expertise on the subject matter. As always, Summerful said, you're a huge champion. Damn, I said it again. I promised I wasn't going to do it again. But
you said you weren't going to say huge. You told us. You didn't keep your word, Jerry.
I don't know. It's called this. My vocabulary is I guess. No, but some of you, as always, been a champion for the Urban League and Urban Young Professionals, and look forward to continued Business Sense boot camps. Before I let you all go, just a reminder: this coming Saturday, our Urban League Young Professionals are hosting I believe it's the 5th year since we first started. We took a year off. Our Urban Expo, and this year will be done virtually. If you have not already registered, it's free to attend for the public. It's free for our business owners to participate. Urban Expo was created to provide our business owners with a platform to introduce their products and services to the community that they wish to serve. So as the immediate past president, I can tell you this has the immediate past president and the former chair of Leadership Development Committee, and then prior to that, just a member of the Leadership Development Committee. This event has been close to my heart, especially to our community. It's been an opportunity to bring our community, our business owners together, the friends, the family, historically. Of course, this year with the pandemic afoot, we've had to take the pivot during the pandemic, and we're hosting it virtually. If you have not registered, visit urbanexpophx.com. That's urbanexpophx.com. If you follow our YPs, Phoenix UYP, across all social media platforms, connect with us, attend as an attendee. Again, it's free to the public. If you're a business owner, I don't know if there's still space for our business owners to register, but please feel free, try your luck. If not, valuable information. You can connect with other business owners. You know that the local economy, particularly with our community members, it's a great opportunity to get engaged with some of those folks. And I know both Salisha and Summer will be featured on our Urban Expo this coming Saturday. So, just keep coming, and we're glad that you can participate in today's event. Look forward to seeing you all on Saturday.
Definitely, yes. I'm looking forward to speaking there. I think I'm doing Protect Your Brand. So we're talking about trademarks again. So join in, and I'm also a vendor there. So stop by.
Yeah.
So, any final comments for the audience, ladies? Before we close out?
Yes, my final comments is to, we're in COVID. A lot is going on virtual. So my lasting words is always to business owners to just stay encouraged. This information is informational. It is for you to learn. It is not for you to be overwhelmed. Like, I don't want you to listen to this and say, oh my gosh, I'm doing everything wrong. No. Take a deep breath. It's okay, right? This is informational. This is in business. It's about growing. It's about learning. You're not going to do it perfect. If you're in business right now and you don't have a trademark, don't freak out, right? It's about learning. Now that you know, okay, now create a game plan as to how you can financially do this thing, right? So I want you to be encouraged. I want you to know that you don't do business perfect. You do imperfect action. You get up, you show up, and you be consistent in your business. It's not about doing it perfect. So I want you to know, if you ever see the Rigsby Law Firm, we are here to inform and to educate you. We don't want you to be overwhelmed. And if you have questions, We are always online every week where you can ask us questions, but we want to help you get over the learning curve, right? We want to assist you in that. So don't feel overwhelmed. You got this, and stay encouraged in this season. So that's all. And I am so glad that you all had me tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll leave you with some final thoughts.
I just thank you both for being here and hosting and being a part of the community here. Arizona needs more people of color, strong people of color with careers and aspirations, and telling people, this is how I got where I am. They're giving you kind of all those nuances, all those secrets that you're like, oh, I wish I would have known that when I was younger. Well, now you can learn everything. And this is from Salisha. This is from Jerry. This is from the Greater Phoenix Urban League, just providing all of this in-depth information just from people understand. Like, Salisha didn't start off doing this. What attorney were you before? What type of attorney?
So I started as a disability attorney, and then I was the assistant attorney general for the state of Arizona.
See, so this was not her goal. This is her passion. So you have an attorney who turned a passion into a business, and that's just like that's their dream. That's what you want your young daughters and your young sons to see as Black people, and saying, hey, this is what we can do. And I know she's doing extremely well. This is her passion. This is what she wants to do. This is Jerry's passion. Jerry loves economics. He loves business. He loves explaining to people how to make money and how to do it well. And I absolutely love telling people how and showing people how to build wealth. When you have people who are passionate about doing, and trust you me, none of us are getting paid to do any of this right now. So when you have people explaining how to build wealth, how to keep wealth, and how to sustain it, this is just information that'll help you continue to grow your business, grow who you are, grow your family, and continue to love life. So I'm so happy to be here. I love these sessions. I love these webinars, and I hope we continue to do them. And I hope they branch out to other people who have been wanting to do something, especially in this virtual world. Just try it. See how many people show up. Even if one person's there, you get to change someone's life or get to add that added value. So thank you so much, Jerry and Salisha, for allowing Comerica to be here with you.
Thank you.
Excellent words from both our panelists today. Again, thank you all for attending. Greater Phoenix Urban League, thanks you for attending. Our Urban League Young Professionals, thanks you for attending. And we look forward to talking with the next installment of the Businesses Bootcamp, sponsored by Bootcamp. Bye.
Awesome. Thank you. Have a good night.